Om. 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 Saishwaraya Vidmahe Sathya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om. Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Mother Sai. What a wonderful day it is today, the Ashada Ekadasi. And when one thinks of that, one is reminded of Varkaris. And what better way to describe the students of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning to be nothing but those Varkaris. They live, sing in praise of the Lord, do His work, and their life is rejoicing in reminiscence of the name of the Lord and His message. And we have been blessed for more than 122 weeks with Varkaris coming in every week. So every Sunday has been an Ashada Ekadasi for us, because this is Sai Govind Satsangh, and Vittal is always there amidst us as Sai, watching us, guiding us. And we are blessed today to have yet another alumni, someone, I'm not going to go with the script, but I would speak from my heart. Someone who has gathered alumni together in Singapore. One who is passionate about Bal Vikas. One who has got a flair for writing amazing scripts and getting people together, putting up plays, motivating them to take up Veda chanting, teaching them, inspiring them. A leader in her own right, office bearer in several capacities over the years, but above all, a wonderful alumni and a wonderful human being, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a homemaker as well. So I have someone here who I have a great deal of respect, coming in from our city of Singapore, Sister Padmashree, and looking forward to hearing her experiences. And as always, as curious as you are, I don't know what is the message the Lord has for us today in this Sai Govind Satsang, but I am as curious as you are to hear Sister Padmashree over the next 1.5 hours. And there's a beautiful surprise for us culminating towards the end of the satsang. I had the privilege to listen to it. I'm sure you're going to be excited to hear it at the end. And there's nothing better to culminate this wonderful Ashada Ekadasi with the last 5 minutes that is in store towards the end. So now that I've released the suspense, let's look forward to listening to Sister Padmashree. Sai Ram, Sister.
Sadguru Brahma Sanatana He. That Parabrahman, that pure consciousness has come in this form of a supreme Guru for our sake. Paramadaya Ghana Pavana He. He is the most compassionate Lord and has come to purify us. Janmaja Dukkha Vinashana He. He's come to remove these difficulties and troubles in this birth of ours, in this lifetime of ours. Jagadodharana Karana He. He's come to uplift mankind. Sai Krishna Janardana He. He Sai Krishna, the one who responds to the cries of his devotees. Bhava Bhaya Jaladhe Tarana He. remove all my fears, and take me across this ocean of life. Offering myself at the lotus feet of my Guru, my most beloved Bhagavan, Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Sai Ram, respected elders, dear sisters and brothers, I hope you can hear me clearly. I would like to thank Brother Venkat for giving me this beautiful opportunity to say a few words. Yes, today is Ashadi Ekadasi, but upcoming is Guru Purnima, to say a few words on our most beloved Guru, most beloved Bhagwan. So I was wondering how I should start, and I picked one discourse from Swami's Guru Purnima discourses that is delivered by Swami on 27th July 1961. And I'll let you know soon why I picked that particular discourse. So in that discourse, Swami very clearly says that it's like a gramophone record, don't just go and sing somebody else's song. You should learn to enjoy your own music, Swami says. You sing Swami's glory through your own experiences. That's what Swami put very clearly, and I'd say they are very simple. They will be of relevance. Swami, in this particular discourse, also said that a sculptor, when he sees a rock, he sees God in it. And he starts chiseling to bring out the God from that rock. That is how I see Swami, and it's not just me. I'm sure we all do the same. We see Swami that way. Is the chiseling that he's been doing to bring out the God from within. So my chiseling, I would say, started with my father. My father was a mechanical engineer from Madras Institute of Technology, and he joined the Corps of Electrical and Mechanical Engineers in the Indian Army, EME. He was posted to Pune. That is how far back I can recollect my childhood. I can't go beyond that because I can't remember. That was around, maybe I was 4 years old. So we were in Pune. My father was posted in the 512 base workshop. And all the EME it's all about overhauling and repairing army equipment, tanks. And 512 base workshop was specialized in tanks. So I used to walk into my dad's office, and people who would see me because I resemble my dad, is the Chota Major Saab is here, the young Major Saab is here. That's how they would say. And my dad, that particular workshop, we had the Indian Army working alongside with a lot of civilians too. So in my house at that time, my dad was struggling with my mother's illness. And there was one person who came and brought a picture and gave it to my father and said, "Sir, this is Puttaparthi Sai Baba. You may want to seek his help." So my father immediately went to Puttaparthi, and with Swami's immense compassion and love, he was called for an interview. And as soon as he went for the interview, before my father could say anything, Swami himself told my father everything about my mother. And then he gave the assurance and said, "Don't worry, I will take care of your family. I will take care of your children." Let me stop here at this point and say whether the Swami tells us in an interview, whether he tells us through a discourse, whether we come across this in a book, whether we just think of the quote, "Why fear when I am here?" Let me tell you, brothers and sisters and dear elders, it has the same power. It carries the same power. That is the power of our Sadguru. His omniscience, his omnipotence, his omnipresence. It doesn't mean that he has said it in an interview and it works and otherwise it doesn't. We just have to think about it. So my father, who went with hope, came back with faith. And Swami, in this particular discourse of 1961 Guru Purnima, also says that when a doctor prescribes medicine, it is not enough if the person just goes back and sings the praises of the doctor. He's not going to get all right. The patient needs to take the medicines according to the instructions of the doctor. He needs to follow the instructions, follow the dosage. He needs to follow the instructions, dietary instructions, everything, to have a proper holistic cure. So my father, when he went back, he joined the bhajan groups. We used to have bhajans there in Pune in houses of people, in various houses. So we started having bhajans. My father used to sing, he used to play tabla, he could play the harmonium. My mother would sing, she would play the veena. Apart from that, she was aesthetically blessed. So she would also do a lot of oil paintings, knitting, sewing, cook very well, all this despite her illness. So we had these opportunities. And whenever my chance came to sing the bhajan, Bada Chitta Chora Brindavana Sanchara, that was the only bhajan I sang all through my childhood, though I knew other bhajans. I don't know why I was attached to that bhajan. So we had bhajans that way, and one Shivaratri my father hosted in our house. Of course, being in the army life, we have, it's a very glamorous life. We have this very huge bungalows, huge living rooms. So yes, we called a lot of people, 50, 70 people gathered, and we had this Shivaratri Akhand bhajans. And as the bhajan was going on, a baby cobra coiled up with its hood up under Swami's chair. And then one of the ladies in the bhajan spotted that, and Pambu, Pambu, she shouted. She was Tamil auntie. Snake, snake, she shouted in the middle of the bhajan. Swami tells, I've come in this form so that you all can associate with me, you can relate with me, you can talk to me, you can enjoy and you can learn. If I come in any other form, God knows how you will react, which is very true. See, a snake on a Shivaratri night could be Shiva's snake, could be Swami himself. We don't know, but we never know, right? We don't know what the involuntary reaction is. Is it fear? Is it devotion? Or is it confusion? And in all this confusion, the snake also reacted. So it went and hid behind the altar. The altar, my mom had put a very big box, and on which she put a lot of pictures and stuff. So it went and hid behind the box. It was a baby cobra. It was not a full-grown cobra. And it was peeping its head out once in a while. So bhajans become greater fervor. We don't know what that reason for the increased fervor is. Is it devotion? Is it fear? Is it whatever? But whatever it is. And then we children were sent to go to bed. Said, no staying up whole night, go and sleep. So we went to bed. Next morning, I was woken up by some sounds. I went to peek and see what happened. And I see that my father, along with a few people, they took a few sticks and they were hitting on the ground to get the snake out and to usher the snake into a big, empty flower pot. They managed to do it. And as soon as the snake went in, they covered it with a cloth and they tied a rope around it tightly. The pot had no holes or anything because it was a mud pot. And then my father gave it to, we had male helpers at home. So my father gave it to one of our male helpers. He said, Gundappa, go and leave it in that secluded area. Just take out the rope, allow the snake out, and let it go. So Gundappa came back after a while. And as a matter of fact, he just told my father, Sir, Saab, I opened the thing, I took out the rope, I removed the cloth, and I didn't find the snake. So what happened to the snake? It was there whole night and suddenly disappeared. Wow, miraculous. We love to look at such miracles. We love to hear them. We love to cherish them and remember them. So what Swami says, miracles are only his calling cards. Nothing more than that. I don't think we should give that much of. And my father was happy to hear that, whatever it is, but we didn't give too much importance. We are Swami's greatest miracle. That is the most important thing in life. We ourselves are his greatest miracle. My father also conducted Narayan Seva, feeding the poor. We had a lot of empty spaces there in the cantonment areas. So my father used to do these activities. And after that, my father was posted to Rajouri. And that is a field area. Field area is a place where family is not allowed because there's always risk of imminent danger from the enemy. They are right across the border. So my father, with faith in Swami, took my mother, my elder sister, and me. We were three of us. He just took us and he took a house in Puttaparthi, rented a house, and he left us there. That time, this was the early 70s. Puttaparthi was just a village. There were very few concrete buildings there. And the house that he took belonged, was a property of Seshamaraju Garu, Swami's eldest brother. So he was staying in that house. We used to go to Seshamaraju Garu's house and we used to play with a lot of, there were a lot of children there. I don't know whose grandchildren they were. Seshamaraju Garu was there, Parvatamma Garu was there, Venkamma Garu was there. All of them were there. So I didn't know whose grandchildren. I was very small. We used to just play. We used to go to Venkamma Garu's house, which was at the end of our street, and she would braid our hair with lovely mogali flowers, very, very fragrant flowers. And it's a very Telugu specialty. It's called Puvula Jada. And she would do that. We also had two sisters who lived in our neighborhood who were much older than us in their 20s. So we would just accompany them to the Chitravati river. At that time, Swami was no longer having satsangs on the Chitravati. Everyone, the crowds were already gathering in Prashanti Nilayam. We would just go to Chitravati and, while they would fill their pots with water, we would just play, my sister and I would just play on the banks and on the sands of Chitravati. We would also go to lots of sugarcane fields and we ate so much of sugarcane. We even took bullock cart rides to Bukapatnam occasionally. So it was a complete lovely village atmosphere. And why is this relevant? It is very relevant to a child, because a child, me being a child, was never bothered about what happened yesterday and what was going to happen tomorrow. Was just absolutely enjoying the moment. And I think that's the reason, perhaps the reason why we should always carry the child within us, so that we know how to enjoy and live the moment. One day, my sister and I, we were on the terrace, and our house had a name on top, carved on top, and that was called Umapati Nilayam. Umapati Nilayam means the residence of Shiva, who is the husband of Parvati. So one day, while my sister and I were on the terrace just playing, we just peeked and saw there was a passerby downstairs. He stood there near our house and he looked up on the terrace, and he instead of reading Umapati Nilayam, he read Upmapati Nilayam, which actually made the residence of God into the residence of food lovers. Yes, we were all food lovers, my mom, my sister and I. We had one auntie there who was the wife of a police constable. We used to call her a police auntie. And we would go to her house sometimes and she would give us this extremely delicious ragi mudda to eat. Now, ragi is a finger millet that grows in those areas of Rayalaseema. Because it needs very little water, Rayalaseema had always water shortage. And so that was a crop that grew there. And it is very, very nutritious grain. So Swami used to have ragi mudda every morning for breakfast. And this lady would make ragi mudda every day for her husband. And so whenever we went, she would give us. So that's how we also got to taste that extremely delicious dish. We would walk to the ashram. And I thought it was a long walk to Prashanti Nilayam. But no, it wasn't, because when I went recently, that house is still there in its place. And it's actually not a long walk. I realized I was very little. So with my little legs, if I walk, I thought it was a long way to the ashram. And we went, sat there for darshan. And the first thing, beautiful thing that happened was Sai Gita. Sai Gita comes out, goes around the Prashanti Nilayam Mandir 3 times. Then Swami comes. Sai Gita garlands Swami so beautifully. And that is a moment when children are allowed to go and give something to Swami. So my sister and I would get up and go and give apples to Swami. And we would take Pada Namaskaram, Swami would bless us. And then he lifts up his sleeve so elegantly and feeds Sai Gita. So that was the routine. And of course, a lot of Padmaskarams. It's all. So again, I would like to say that whether it is a Padanamaskaram, whether we had it in person, or whether we have it now using Swami's picture, or a video of Swami, or in the mind's eye, everything carries the same power. That is what I would like to. That is the power of our Guru. It is not that somebody is Padanamaskaram is more privileged and the other isn't. The people I think who are most privileged are those who have never even seen Swami and they are most devoted to Swami. I think nobody is greater than them. My father used to come from Rajouri once in a while to Puttaparthi. Maybe once a month or so he would make a trip. And he would do some small seva there. At that time, it was the construction of Purnachandra Auditorium was happening. So he would form this, many people, the devotees would form a human chain. And my father was one of them. He would tie a handkerchief around his head and pass all this bricks, cement. These are the things he would to the masons so that they would construct Purnachandra Auditorium. So that was my memory of my childhood in Puttaparthi. We were there for a year and we were homeschooled, but it was a beautiful memory. Then after that, my father said, enough is enough, too many transfers, too many postings. He managed to get a posting to Sikandrabad, which is near Hyderabad. And we went there, we joined school there. And every night, of course, I carried Swami in my heart. I was a very quiet and introverted child. It's very hard for my daughter to believe that today. But I was very quiet, very introverted. And I would always talk to Swami within. Anything I had, I would turn to Swami. I didn't want to bother my mom because she is already suffering with her ailment. My dad has his work and he's taking care of us and doing so many things. So I would just talk to Swami in my head. And every morning and every night, I would definitely say one prayer to Swami. With all these things in life, nothing really bothered me much. The only prayer that I would say, perhaps you could see is an extremely selfish prayer, was, Swami, I want to come first in my class. That's all. I always wanted to be the first ranker in my class. So that was my prayer. Swami, please make me come first. All I would say. And my mother, she taught me to read and write Telugu over the summer vacations. So I managed to learn some Telugu in my own small little way. But I never actually picked up any Telugu books to read or improve my Telugu. And I continued with my morning and night prayer every day about coming first in my class. And as if to say that, my dear Swami, you grant my prayer, of course, I would come first. But as if to say, my dearest, that is not the only thing to life. There is more to it. One day, something prompted me to pick up a book. My mom used to get this Telugu Sanatana Sarthi subscription from Puttaparthi. So I just opened the book. I don't know why. And I found these two beautiful prayers written in Telugu given by Swami. So I saw those prayers and it was like, wow. It's like almost like I struck gold. And I learned it. I memorized those prayers. Slowly I learned them. Because I learned Telugu. I read them slowly and memorized those. In Indian system, we are pretty good at memorizing things because we have to memorize poems and stuff also. So we're pretty good. Memorize those prayers. And started saying them every morning and every night, the beautiful prayers. And when Brother Venkat asked me to speak on this occasion, and since it was Guru Purnima coming up, I thought I should, bring out these prayers. But then when I went to the origin. That is when, until now, I didn't bother to even look up when Swami actually gave these prayers. So I went back to trace the origin of these prayers. And Swami gave these prayers in a Guru Purnima discourse of 27 July 1991. So that is the reason why I picked the discourse. And they're very, very beautiful prayers. I would like to read a translation of these prayers. You will not find this translation anywhere else because this is what I've translated. So the morning prayer says, Dear God, I am born today from the womb of sleep, consciously thinking of you as the creator of this entire universe. And as one who resides in my heart, I undertake all my tasks as an offering to you. I surrender to you my thoughts, words, and deeds so that you purify them. Help me utter good words, think good thoughts, and do good deeds. Guide me such that I do not hurt others and I do not feel hurt too. What a beautiful prayer. Swami says, I'm born from the womb of sleep, which is so true. What we were yesterday, we are not today. Science has proven this. Thousands of cells die, thousands of new cells regenerate. So we are actually not the same person that we were yesterday. We are born again. We are given another opportunity to change our life in the morning when we are born, to do things differently. Of course, Swami is asking us to consciously dedicate it to Swami for a reason. Yes, it is. We do use our minds, our intellect to analyze, have logic, reasoning, all these things to do our daily things. But at the end of the thing, we still need to surrender our things. Even Adi Shankaracharya, 1500 years back, the great guru, who was the guru of debates, analysis, logic, even he said, Bhaju Govindam, he says. At the end of the day, you still have to dedicate everything to God. The Swami says, just dedicate them, so I purify them. And then look at the last sentence. Guide me such that I do not hurt others and I do not feel hurt too. We are very, very familiar with Swami's help ever, hurt never. But have we ever focused on, I do not feel hurt? Swami is very, very clearly saying, he doesn't say, guide me such that I do not hurt others and such that others do not hurt me. He doesn't say that. He says, guide me such that I do not hurt others and such that I do not feel hurt. So the onus is on us. It's always about us and us alone. It's nothing to do with anything external. That's what Swami is trying to say. Let us look at the night prayer. Dear God, until now, I've been acting as per your guidance. I've been thinking as per your guidance. I've been speaking as per your guidance. It is you who made me walk, talk, think, and act. I've worship. Take me into the sleeping state now. Dear God, I can obtain eternal peace and happiness only when I rest my head on your lap. So beautiful again. At the end of the day, after a whole day's hard work, after interacting with so many people, doing so many chores and tasks, going through a lot of stresses and strains, a lot of yeses and nos, we're stressed out by the end of the day. And we need a good night's rest. We need the rest. Why? Because if we don't rest well, our tomorrow is ruined again. So we need that good night's rest. So Swami says, don't worry. Dedicate everything to me and just sleep. Sleep in peace and joy. Just go to bed. So he wants us to sleep. Such beautiful prayers. And Swami says in this particular discourse, Swami says, every one of us, he says, should be saying these prayers every morning and every night as a conscious reminder. It is so beautiful. It is different for people who perhaps do not have a guru, or even agnostics who do not believe in God. It's different from this. There's a different path. Nothing is right or wrong. It's a different path, I would say. Here Swami has come directly giving us a very, very, very easy path. So that he is giving so much of assurance. He says, I'm here to help you. Take my help. He's giving all the time, even till now, until today. Are we receiving, and how much are we able to receive? Depends on us. Swami has said in this Guru Purnima discourse that if a heavy iron rod is a bar of iron, heavy bar, is thrown into the sea, it will sink. But if the same bar is beaten into a boat, a hollow vessel, and left on the waters, it will float, Swami said. So that beating Swami does through our various experiences, that chiseling Swami does to us through our various experiences. And we are very, 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 very grateful to our Sadguru for this. So coming back to, yes, I was in my 7th grade. I got these prayers. I was chanting them morning and night and going ahead with my daily school. When I was in my 7th grade, I was chosen by my school. My school was a full-fledged school. We had sports days. We had all competitions. We had march past. We had elocution, dramatics, everything. So I was chosen by my school to give a public speech at the Republic Day parade of my school. So I was preparing. That was my very first public speech. I was preparing for that. And I was in my 7th grade. That morning, 26th January, when I opened my school bag, which is actually a small aluminium box, my sister and I would carry small aluminium boxes with school books in it. When I opened my school box, I suddenly found so much of vibhuti in the box. And it was such a peculiar pattern. I've never seen that kind of vibhuti anywhere. Peculiar pattern, heaps, so much of vibhuti in small heaps. And I was like, Dad, I have so much vibhuti. My dad came to see. My sister, when she opened her box, and she too found a lot of vibhuti in her. For me, it was definitely a blessing and a sign. Something, Swami is developing this introverted, quiet little girl into something. He's developing some skills. He's giving his own encouragement. Today was my first public speech. And I was very happy. For my father, my sister was in the 10th grade. And the following year, she's supposed to join college. So my father was silently praying to Swami. We didn't know this. He was silently praying, saying, Swami, where should I put my daughter, elder daughter? In which college should I join her? And this was a very, very clear sign for him. So he got admission for my sister in Swami's college at Anantapur. I continued schooling here. I joined dramatics, I to bag the Best Actress Prize, and elocution competitions, always won. Now, clueless about what is lying in future for me, in whatever way, whatever dimension, whatever, how big or small, whatever magnitude it was, I was clueless. I was just enjoying what Swami was giving me and went on with life like that. And then it was my turn to join Swami's college. But I had a small problem. My problem was when I was very, very small, we used to play with a lot of friends in the evening and all, but occasionally friends would gather in small dark spaces like staircases and all that, put a candle and share ghost stories. Lesson for all mothers, please watch out, don't allow children to do these things. Because that fear of ghosts and the dark sat in my head. And the fear grew with me, unfortunately. So whenever I had to go into a dark room, whenever I had to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, I had to wake up my sister. It was that bad. And now I'm joining Swami's college. Swami, Antaryami, Hridayavasi, where is he? Somewhere outside, he's within us. Of course he knows. And he waits for the right time, the right moment, the right environment, the right circumstances. So I was in room number 9 on the ground floor of the hostel. So there was this sister, Subbalakshmi Akka, who was living in the top floor. So she came to our room one day saying, I've been asking around all the rooms, I've been going around and asking. Nobody is interested to learn. Are you, by any chance, interested to learn the Hanuman Chalisa? And the minute I heard Hanuman Chalisa, I was like, yeah, I want to learn. I am totally clueless. I have no idea what. I know Hanuman. but I do not know what is the significance of Hanuman Chalisa. Totally clueless, but I know that she's not going to teach me alone. So I pushed all my roommates. Say, come on, come on, come on. She's here to teach. Let's learn it. And some of the colleges who's who were in my room. One of the best singers in my college was in my room. What a voice she has. And the best sportsman of the college and best Kanjira player, she was in my room. What we used to do is after Suprabhatam, morning Suprabhatam, we had a morning tea. We had a little time. So we would go into our college grounds and sit there to learn the Hanuman Chalisa. What a beautiful college grounds. My God. Lovely trees, lovely gardens, lovely ponds with lotus and water lilies. And there was a hill behind our college. And that hill was in the shape of a lion. Our college is not even in the middle of a city. We are like 500 girl students, all run by girls and women. So they were all ladies. All our teachers were ladies. There was one, like Anil Kumar sir puts it, not even a male mosquito is allowed to enter. One male sentry at the gate of our college. One male gardener used to come once in a while. We had a very old Sanskrit professor who was almost 80 years old who would teach Sanskrit in the college. That is how we were. And we were also in a very secluded area. So it could get scary, but it always felt very safe. Swami's protection and how he kept us so safe. A big group of girls kept us so safe. We sat there enjoying the beauty of our college, of course, early in the morning, and learned the Hanuman Chalisa. And as I learned the Hanuman Chalisa, brothers and sisters, the fear that bothered me for 10 years just disappeared in 2 weeks. And I don't know what happened. I do not know. I don't know what chemical reactions happened in the body, what happened. I have absolutely no idea. It just automatically disappeared. And I felt so confident and fearless. Swami, compassionate Lord, am I deserving? I don't know. I'm not the judge of that. Swami knows when, why, who, where, what, everything. As long as we are just clinging on to him, holding on to him, thinking of him, you don't have to go out. It's just constantly thinking of Swami. So I got attached to, I've learned Soham mantra there. I used to just, chant Soham all the time when I walk up and down. Nobody knows these things. You don't share these things even with friends. I don't know. We went to Patti. We used to go to Patti often, have a lot of darshans and all that. And one of those symposiums that they were having, I'm not, I was very young. I was not even interested in hearing who the speakers are and what the content of the symposium was. We were interested was in Swami. And we just, Swami came and he would teach us the Gayatri mantra, and that's how we learned it. And came back to college and took that very seriously, woke up early in the morning, used to chant Gayatri, just very enthusiastic, I would say. Learned the Gayatri. And I would, there were times when I would climb to the terrace of our college. Our college was about 3-4 floors. And, by the time our girls climbed 3-4 floors just to go from one classroom to the other, one lab to the other, they were already tired. Nobody would bother to go to the terrace. So I would just quietly climb onto the terrace and sit down there and, nicely in solitude, sit and think of my Swami so beautifully and just meditate. Just didn't want anybody to know, because sometimes, people will think you're weird. But just do it quietly. And there was one of those days when I was there on the terrace quietly. I opened my eyes to see I was surrounded by a huge group of monkeys, maybe 15 to 20 monkeys. They were all around me. And some of them were baby monkeys, so some of them may have been mother monkeys. Oh my God, that's even more dangerous. I know how possessive mothers can be, believe me. I have personal experience. And so I was thinking, oh Swami, Hanuman Chalisa you taught me and I got rid of the fear. But if Hanuman only comes, to frighten. What am I to do? Of course, quickly, close eyes, Om Bhurvasvaha Saviturvarenyam, chant the Gayatri mantra. Just for about a few seconds, and then open my eyes to see, is there anything? They just disappeared. Swami has given us all these quick fixes. He has given us Gayatri mantra, extremely powerful. Just Swami has given so many things: bhajan, Gayatri mantra, Veda chanting, just speaking a Swami's quote, reading. So many ways to connect to him very, very instantaneously. And Swami has been always the most responsive guru. He responds so fast. Even till today. Beautiful experiences. I'm grateful to all our teachers. Very, very inspiring. Varka Rani ma'am, she was my physics professor. Very, very inspiring. Jema madam, she was college warden. Very strict disciplinarians. We were scared of them. But they were very inspiring. So one day I came back from college and for lunch, I went to the hostel and I realized that I went to the dining hall and realized that the lunch was over. And I was going back with an empty plate and glass. I said, oh, no lunch for me today. I said, I was just going back. And Jema madam spotted me. Jema madam, who's very, very busy, who has so many things to do. And I am one of those who's much below the radar, one of those junior most in the college. And yet she's able to spot. Come here, child. Yes, ma'am. Did you have your lunch? No, ma'am. I was having practical exams, so I got delayed. And I forgot to tell my roommates to, inform my roommates to keep some lunch for me. So there's no lunch. Come, she said. She took me into the kitchen. She got the cook to open and take out all the leftovers, put it in the plate. Sit down and have it, she said. And she went. So I had my lunch. Where, in which college, in which part of the world will you find such teachers and such wardens? Such beautiful instruments of Bhagavan. Swami, who is our guru, who trains his gurus to be such beautiful instruments. Let me talk a little bit more about my dad. My dad, while he was serving army, as I said, the army life is very glamorous and all, but in those days, army officers were not really having very good pay scales. My dad incurred a lot of expenses because of my mother's treatment. And he also knew that he has 2 daughters and he has to get them married. So he took a premature retirement from the Indian Army. And he wanted to go to Gulf to work. There was a period in between where he didn't have a job. It was very, very difficult. That was when he just held on to Swami's feet through Sai literature. So he read a lot of Sathya Sai Speaks, Vahini series, Summer Showers, Upanishads, including teachings of, Ramana Maharshi and these kind of great teachers. He spent a lot of time reading all that, and I used to watch him do all that. A little did I realize that even I would do the same at a later time in my life. Yes, I had the opportunity of reading a lot of books, and I'm grateful for that. And then my father got this opportunity. He started working. He went to Kuwait. He worked in the Kuwait Transport Corporation. He was in charge of the buses there, the overhauling and the repair and all the thing. Well, there was one very unfortunate incident that happened in August of 1990. And that was when Iraq invaded Kuwait. And it was really bad. So all the people who were working there tried to flee. All my father's friends fled. They left Kuwait. Some came here to Singapore, some went to Malaysia, so many other places they fled. My father, really, which man in an insane mind would want to stay back in a sane mind would try to stay back under such circumstances? But my father, the brave man, says, I'm an army officer. I'm not afraid of all this. I'm not budging. I'm not going to leave because if I leave at this age and go to any other country, nobody's going to give me another job. I'd rather stay here and retire from here. So he stayed put. He would actually drive the people who wanted to flee. Whether it is his friend or anybody who would approach him, he would drive them to the borders of Jordan and drop them off, talking to the Iraqi soldiers in between. He would go and he would drive them and drop them off. That was the little seva that he would do. And my father had a heart attack a year back before this incident. And he had no medicines because he noticed that Iraq was completely looting Kuwait. It is called one of the greatest looting sprees in modern history. They completely looted Kuwait. My father used to see how things were taken in truckloads from Kuwait to Iraq every day. So if it's a hospital, hospital equipment, hospital beds, hospital cabinets, medicines, everything. If it's a school, it's benches, chairs, tables, whiteboards, blackboards, markers, everything. Everything was clean. Only bare walls were left. So my father didn't have medication. He was a heart patient. No medication, no nutritious food. My father's doctor was a Greek who fled to Greece. And my father was there. So what did he do? Hold on to the Guru as usual. So he used to chant the Sai Stotram. He had Swami's picture there. And with a few grains of rice, he would just do the Sai Stotram puja for Swami and cook that and have it. That is how he survived for so many months in good health. All because of Swami. Swami's protection. Very, 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 very protective. Guru's protection. And after that, my father's doctor came back and he looked at my father and said, Rao, you're still here and still alive? Sai, Karunakara, extremely compassionate, always there, always responding to our prayers. So, well, my sister got married, I got married into a wonderful family. They were not devotees of Sai, but very, very gracefully accepted me, accepted Swami into the family. Wonderful people. Knowing that I'm from a very different background, still, they were very, very loving. In-laws. We came to Singapore. My husband went to Perumal Temple, just as anyone would go to a temple. And there he found that Sai bhajans are going on in the wedding hall that was attached to the Perumal Temple. And he told me about it. And then that's how we slowly started in getting involved in Sai activities in Singapore, my husband and I. And I became a SSC guru and slowly went on to become the SSC coordinator. And I would like to share one experience. When I was a SSC coordinator, it's not so much about the relevance of the experience, it's about interaction with Swami. Why I like to share is because I feel that these should be remembered. They are beautiful experiences of the avatar who walked this earth, and they should just be remembered. So as soon as I became the coordinator of SSC, I thought we should take the children to Swami. And the best way of taking the children to Swami is to prepare a drama. So I just wrote a simple script and prepared the children, and Swami came in one of my dreams. I told him, Swami, I'm bringing the children. He said, bring them, teach them songs also. So I was wondering why Swami told me that. Anyway, we had about 35 children in the drama and we were busy with practices. We taught them songs, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, English, variety of songs. And later I realized that as we were getting closer to the trip, many more children started joining in. I couldn't accommodate them into the play itself, but they all got a place because we had songs prepared. So they all learned the songs. And then we went to Patti. And we went on a 1-week trip. We got special seating. We even got a shed to practice. But Swami was not paying any attention to our group. We went around, we took our children to all Swami's birthplace, Karna Subhamma's house, all these things in Parthi, whatever we could do. But Swami was not paying any attention, so our sadhana was getting a lot more serious. And the children, in the evenings when we used to practice, was, Auntie, I chanted Gayatri Mantra 1,000 times. Auntie, I chanted Gayatri Mantra 1,200 times. They were competing with each other. They were all little kids. And I too, being the food lover that I am, thought that the best way to attract Swami's attention was perhaps give up food for one day. So one day I didn't eat. No food, no water. I didn't tell my family because they will not allow me to do that. And I had to do all this, going around everywhere and do complete practice sessions, everything. Only at the end of the day, I drank some water and went to bed. Next morning, Swami responds to all our intense prayers. He went to the boys first. From where are you? Singapore, Swami. When did you come? We came 3 days back. Hurry! Nobody told me. Drama. Biggest and best actor of his own drama. Then he went to the veranda. Our center president met him, and Swami told him, I will meet the coordinator the next day. So the next day, I sat there in the front row waiting for Swami to come. He came in the car, but he didn't call me. He went to the veranda and he called for 2 boys. In our boys, all the boys were little, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 8-year-old. They were very little boys in the drama. So the 2 little boys went to Swami. So Swami asked them, what drama? Maharshi Valmiki, Swami. How many actors? They're blank. Like, oh, they don't know what to say. Who is your teacher? Auntie Padmashree, Swami. Go, call her. So they came to me. Auntie Padmashree, Baba is calling you. So I went. Auntie Shauri told me to go and stand in the corner of the mandir. When I went there, Swami told me, come to the center of the Kulmant house. So I went. I was standing there on the steps. Swami was there at the railing, the center. And then he started asking me, so what drama? I said, Maharshi Valmiki Swami. How many singers? So I was, what singers is Swami asking about? So I was so happy that I was speaking to Swami. So beaming with joy, I just poured my heart out and all the statistics out and told Swami everything that I needed to tell about the play as much as I could, saying how many students, how many children, how many days we are there. And then finally at the end of it, is it recorded? I said, yes, Swami, it's recorded. Then the next thing he asks me is, do you want the Purna Chandra for practice? And I said, oh my, that was something I was not expecting. And then I said, Swami, if you give it, we will take it, Swami. I was very happy. Do you want 9 to 12 or 10 to 12? So involved in the small details. Such a big master, taking such big projects, humanitarian projects, water project, hospitals, schools. What are we? What is our drama? Why this attention? 9 to 12 or 10 to 12? 10 to 12 is enough, Swami. Then he called Auntie Shauri. Just give them the Purna Chandra auditorium for practice from 10 to 12. So I thought, okay, so that is the end of the conversation. When I was stepping back, Swami calls me again and says, dresses? Swami, we brought everything, costumes and everything. Okay, manchidi, go and practice. So I was talking to Swami in Telugu. So Swami, go and practice. Everyone's spirits were so high. We went to Purna Chandra, we had a practice session. That afternoon, Swami called us for an interview. He said, call the teacher who spoke in Telugu, who spoke to me in the morning. So I went along with another teacher. We were only lady teachers who went on this trip. Our male teachers didn't come with us. So our administrators came, my husband and another brother, they came into the interview room. We were 4 of us. So Swami looked and he started asking, so what is the first scene? So I started narrating slowly, scene by scene about the drama. And Swami was so involved. This is the story of Maharshi Valmiki. For those who do not know, He's a great sage who wrote the story of Ramayana. But before becoming a great sage, he was also a very great highway robber. This is a story of a very great transformation. And also, Maharshi Valmiki, after he wrote the Ramayana, he taught the Ramayana to the sons of Rama themselves. And they were the boys who actually went and spread the story of Rama. So that is how it goes. So Swami was very excited about the sons of Rama, Lava and Kusha. When I mentioned them, he says, oh, Lava, Kusha, yes, very good. And then Swami was talking about Sita. He was talking about how Rama made Sita's idol and all these, so many things. And I told him, Swami, I'm not showing Sita in the drama. And Swami immediately, huh? If Sita is not there, how will you show Lava and Kusha, the children? If mother is not there, how will you show the children? Then I had to tell Swami, our drama is only 35 minutes, Swami. So, this is how I put it, and this is how I'm doing it. This is how we are showing it. And Swami immediately, such a compassionate Lord, he knows that, what our problems are. He knows we can't change things at the last minute. That's okay. If that is the case, then no need of Sita. Yes, that's okay. Immediate approval. And then he told me, you are directing it. And that was a moment of embarrassment to me, because I am very, very animated in the way I was directing plays and all that. Oh my God, if Swami is actually sitting there and watching me direct, we usually behave ourselves, right? It's like how we watch our own minds. The mind behaves itself when we watch our minds. The master sitting there and watching, we also behave ourselves. But of course, no. I was like freely acting, directing, doing all that. And I was embarrassed here when Swami said, you are directing. Immediately, Swami sensed that and he says, Tappu ledu, no, nothing wrong. And then came the very great message for all gurus. When children do not know, you must do it and show, Swami says. He didn't say when children do not know, you must tell them. He says, when children do not know, you must do it and show. Lead by example. Very beautiful lesson. And Swami was like, oh, Bangaru was very, very happy, very, very involved, very, very excited. Swami and I, both of us were excited about the play. And he said, Manchiti, go practice every day. And after that, every darshan, Swami would call me to the car and ask me how many parents, how many children, some question or the other. And there were so many other groups that had come from overseas sitting around us. And they used to tell that because of your group, we are getting very, very good darshans. And then Swami also would again, another darshan, Swami would call and say, see, by 4 o'clock, your drama will be over. By 9 o'clock, you can reach the airport. Because our drama was on the day when we were leaving. And Swami knew that our flight is at 12. So he knew we had to reach at 9. But Swami, is a drama at 4 p.m.? He says, no, it's at 3 p.m. only. So sweet. And then on the final day, Swami called me again into the veranda and said, look, take this professor with you. He will provide you everything that you need for a drama in the Purnachandra auditorium. And then I asked Swami, where is the drama? I really didn't know, because until then we didn't know where we are doing it. Then he says, no, it is in the Purnachandra auditorium. It is not in the Kulwant hall, Swami told. And I was like, so, oh my God. And that professor that Swami sent to help us, he's an MBA college professor. And also in charge of the cultural activities, and a professor who we knew personally, my husband and I. My husband used to go for as a guest lecturer to the MBA college boys in Swami's Institute. So my husband knew this professor also personally. And when I spoke to him, I said, this drama is not at all Purnachandra standard. So the professor says, why are you worried? Why are you bothered about that? You just take it easy. Swami has given you. Just go and do it. And he provided us with a backdrop, with everything from the university, from their inventory. Many things that we needed for the drama were provided. And of course, the sound, the lighting, everything was done by them. And the day of the drama came. We were all seated in the backstage. So Swami entered from the backstage. And as soon as Swami comes in, says, very good makeup. Who did? Teacher Swami. All the children. He wants to make conversation. So sweet. And then in the drama, we had 5 girls as angels who acted as the 5 human values. We had 6 boys as demons, only because boys are jumpy and very, boisterous. So we chose them. They suit best for such characters. So we chose the 6 boys as demons, the Arishad Vargas of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. They were there. So Swami looked at all of them, sweeping glance, and he saw the boys. Hare, there are demons. And see what Swami did. So that they do not feel, nobody in that group of boys feels that, oh, we are doing a negative role, or we are demons while everybody else are angels and doing nice things. Swami pays attention to them. And beautiful Swami's way of changing the experience for that group of boys. And Swami was, yes, okay, all good children do well, he said. And he went and he sat. And then we performed the whole drama. Anil Kumar sir was sitting at Swami's feet. Later he came and shared how Swami was all the time telling children acting very well. Lavakushas are so cute. All these things Swami was sharing with Anil Kumar sir. At the end of the drama, all the children sat on stage. Those children who were also extra children who had joined and learned the songs, everyone came on stage. We all sat on stage, sang the songs. Do not ask us the standard of all these things. We just did what we could. And at the end of it, we said, Swami, please. And Swami said, you want me to come? And yes, Swami. So Swami came up on stage. And, hey, Lavakusha, come here. He called. He took out 2 watches. He gave it to them. Did you like them? Those 2 little boys who took the watches. Then he went to 3 youth who helped us with playing of instruments during the singing. He materialized Vibhuti and gave all of them. And then he told them, I'm going to give you safari suit pieces. Do you know what safari suit is? These are people from Singapore, okay? So there was one of those boys who was only thinking about animal safari. That's the only safari that he knows. Animal safari, African safari, that's the only safari he knew. So Swami gave them safari suit pieces. He called all the students in a row and he handed them watches personally, every single student. Then he called all the students in a row and gave them all the boys. He gave white safari suit pieces. He called all the girls and handed them one by one saris. He called all the teachers. He gave us saris one by one. Then he asked us teachers, did you get watches? And we said, no, Swami, as if we've never seen a watch in our life. And he called all of us, gave us watches. And then he called all the men who were helping backstage, all our husbands, teachers' husbands and other people, parents. Some of them were parents of fathers of the children. They were also helping backstage. He called all of them and he gave them watches and clothes. That much he gave Swami to this small little drama, small little group. He went to the person who acted as a negative role, the highway robber, Ratnakara, before he became the great sage Valmiki. We went to that girl who was acting that negative role and told her, you acted very well. See? So beautiful how he makes the experience beautiful. He went to a girl and said, you danced very well. And then I asked Swami, did you like the drama? And Swami said, very good dresses, very good action, very good drama. And then he said, you should have done it on my birthday. Birthday Nadu Veyal Siddhi, he said. Oh my. That was 6th December, just about 2 weeks after Swami's birthday. And that was such a big compliment for such a simple thing that we did, simple drama. It was an effort, no doubt, a beautiful effort by all our students, all the parents, all the teachers. It was a joint effort. But yet, it was very simple, and Swami just lifted us up. It was such a wonderful experience. And Swami said, next time, front row, front seat. Then after that, he materialized Vibhuti. He gave me some Vibhuti. We did Aarti for Swami. And when Swami was exiting, he said, call all the mothers who are sitting in the audience and give them saris. And then Swami left. So all the mothers came and even they got saris. It was such a beautiful experience. After which, before we could even digest anything, we had to rush back to our rooms and pack up and leave for Singapore, because Swami said by 9 o'clock you can reach the airport. We reached the airport by 9 o'clock. That's how it happened. Such a beautiful experience. We came back to Singapore. Next evening, because we know that professor personally, my husband, we called him to find out what is happening. And then he said, Swami, the next day morning, Swami actually asked him, did the Singapore group leave? And he said, yes, Swami. Were they happy? Swami asked. What a guru. What a love. That love that Swami showers. Incomparable, really. Love of 1,000 mothers, Swami says. And then that afternoon darshan, Swami was still talking about the play and telling how well the students acted and how good the play was. So that was an extremely beautiful experience. And then we came back, and in January, when we reopened for Balvikas, which is SSC now, the students were so charged up. Swami had just introduced Veda chanting in the Sai Kulwant Hall that year when we went for drama. So they came back saying, Auntie, we want to learn Vedas. So with whatever little Vedas that I had learned, I started teaching Veda in the assembly of our Balvikas, SSC classes. And from there, we took it on, we went on, and things grew. The SSC program grew, there were so many other experiences. It's difficult to share everything in a short time. But yes, during Swami's 85th birthday, we took Veda to a different level. We said we want to teach Rudram to everyone who wanted to learn. So there were hundreds who were seated for Rudram classes, and we taught them Rudram. We taught them the Namakam. So we have to teach. This is the year. If we don't do it, we will not be able to do it again. So we just taught everyone. And it was not just teaching them Rudram. We said, why don't we make Rudram a seva? All these beautiful ideas which Swami gives. Why don't we make it a seva? So few of us who knew Rudram, I started this, initiated it, took a few teachers along who knew Rudram, whoever parents came, whoever knew Rudram. We would go to the houses every week of the sick people and chant the Rudram along with a few prayers. It was a very, very simple seva that needed no effort from the host, because we are going to the house of a sick person. All they needed to do was give us 1 hour of their time. So we went on a weekend, on a convenient time for them, took their 1 hour, sat there, did their prayers. And there are stories about those, which I may share at a later date. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful year. And after that, we went ahead through Ladies Wing. I initiated with Swami's grace. We initiated the Sai Protein Seva for the migrant workers. That was also a weekly seva. This was also a weekly seva. So everything became weekly sevas somehow, which still goes on now, not as a weekly seva during this pandemic, but yes, the seva still goes on. And we hope to restart the Rudram Seva too soon. So whatever said and done, my husband also got into a lot of seva, and he also has started these activities, teaching English classes for the helpers here in Singapore who don't know English. Yeah, all Swami's way of how his chiseling keeps going on. It keeps continuing and continuing. The learning goes on and on and on. And you can feel Swami's grace and Swami's power. And brothers and sisters, I have never missed Swami in my life. Never. Because since my childhood, I can always had conversations, I always connected with the omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Swami, the Swami which is within my heart. So for the Sai who is always with me, where's the question of missing when Sai is always with us? So that question never arises. So that's how beautiful, blessed with two wonderful children, as Brother Venkat put it. Yes, I can't ask Swami for any more blessings in this lifetime. It has been a very, very, very wonderful journey. I would not say that it is free from ups and downs. It has its ups and downs and all the beautiful learnings that came from it. And Swami has his reasons, his most responsive guru, most loving guru. All we need to do all the time is just hold on to his feet and not budge. There are many ways in which Swami will test us. Send this, send that attraction, this, that, everything. Send another guru, maybe another something, maybe another some, whatever. Why? When Swami is here with us, where is the need to move? Where is the need to go anywhere else? Swami has given us some activity with Swami's grace. That also is Swami's grace. With Swami's grace, we are into doing some good work. And as Swami says, it's not that you are doing anything good. The work, it's what you get from that seva that you're doing is very, very important. You render a good work and good seva, yes, that is equally important. It's quality seva. But what that does to you is actually more important. So when we are in a particular activity and we are doing a particular, whether it's SSC or whether it's one seva or anything, there is no reason to think, gee, this is not the thing. This is wrong. This is being done wrong. The minute you are looking at that, with that perspective, we are looking outward. What we have to be seeing actually is, what is that doing to me? How am I changing? What is the transformation that is coming on in me? How am I thinking? How am I looking at things differently? Despite the challenges, Swami life says, Swami, life is a challenge, meet it. He doesn't say life is a challenge, run away. Meet it. So there's no reason. I have seen in my life, I've seen no reason to move away from anything. I started here. My activity, Sai activity started here. And I pray to Swami that it will continue as long as I'm here. If I'm moving out of the country and all, it's a different thing, but I pray that it continues, Swami. I would like to be just a pillar rather than run from pillar to post. Just stick to Swami's feet, hold on to his feet. Come what may, it doesn't matter. I have had my own challenges. I've had it all throughout. It's not easy work, doing voluntary work in Sai Organization never comes easy. It comes with its own set of challenges. When I was a junior most also, I had very strict seniors who said things to my face. But that didn't make me budge. Just stuck around. I think these are all lessons we learn. And my son, he went ahead and we are running out of time. I managed to join my son in Swami school for a while. He has had beautiful experiences there. My daughter, she served as the Swami has also molded her very, very beautifully. She's also very, very aesthetically blessed, this girl. And she was the bhajan convener for our center for over 7 years at a very young age. And also she continued to serve for another 3 years in the bhajan convening team. So almost 10 years she served until she got married and moved away to the US. And when I was pregnant with her, I used to sing bhajan. Swami always talks about pregnant mothers, being careful about what the child in the womb is going through. So he used to mention the story of Prahlad. I would sing bhajans, and this girl who's born has become a beautiful bhajan singer, and she grew big. So I will just, I think, end my talk with this, because there's so many beautiful, many beautiful experiences on a day-to-day basis. It's very, very difficult to put them all together. But Today, all I do is, yes, apart from our daily sadhana, Swami says, you have to do your daily sadhana. We need to keep it quiet. There's no need to share to 100 people what we do on a daily basis. That's between us and Swami always. There's nothing to show off about anything. But yes, that connection with Swami has to always be there. It's just a very, 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 very simple thing to do. It's a heart-to-heart connection, Swami says. He's given the simplest ways. He's given it how? Through Gayatri Mantra, through a bhajan, through prayer, through a simple thought, through simple Sai activity. Whatever we do, it has to be with the intention of connecting with Swami. And just waiting to see how he responds in our daily lives in turn. In return, he does respond. He does take care of everything else. You do my work and I will do yours, Swami says. That's how simple it is, and it has happened in my life. And I'm extremely grateful to Swami, our Guru, Supreme Guru, and also grateful to everybody else in my life who has played a role. Whether it's a positive role, whether it's a negative role, whatever role it is, big, small. Grateful to everyone. Because I see life as a kaleidoscope. Everyone come together to form this beautiful pattern in my life. And it has been a beautiful thing. And I wouldn't want to change anything. It's been a wonderful journey. If I change 1 degree, who knows? I may not even have been a Sai devotee. Oh, no. I can't take the chance. I'm happy, Swami. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I want Swami, on this occasion of upcoming Guru Purnima, Swami, bless all of us. We are all your children, Swami. We are all your disciples. We are all your students. We are all your children. Bless all of us with your immense love, your immense grace. Shower on us your blessings. Continue to protect us. Continue to guide us. Continue to guard us. Always. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavattu. We shall end this session with a bhajan from my daughter. Sai Ram.
Hi Ram, we still have time, 5 minutes, and I do not want to have any conversation after that 5 minutes of listening to what is going to come next, which is a culmination of the bhajan singing during pregnancy to the music that is inherent in the family, from what we heard about your dad playing all the instruments and your mother playing the veena. And the grace of the Lord added together gives the beauty and the devotion and the voice that we're going to listen to at the end. But when such music happens, it's better to end with the Om Shanti Shanti afterwards. So before that, gratitude to you, sister, and to Swami for helping share. It's always interesting to see how we came to Swami, what are the convictions that we develop by our interactions with him. And you brought a beautiful point, which a lot of us have seen. To you, Swami is where you are, and whatever you do is done in the same fervor as you would do at Prashanti. For those in Singapore, we have seen that in action. We have time for a couple of questions. It'll be nice if anyone has any questions to ask, and then we shall end with that 5 minutes of bliss that is also an offering to Swami for Guru Purnima. So if anyone has questions, I do notice a lot of previous speakers are also here on the satsang, quite a few Anantapur alumni as well, a few from Singapore as well. If anyone has got any questions, we have time for a couple. I will wait. You can either unmute yourself or type it, and I can read it out. If anyone has questions, just we'll give ourselves a couple of minutes to ask them, and then we shall go to the...
Sairam, can I ask something?
Please go ahead, Sairam. Yeah.
I am Nagini. I'm also an alumni. I'm from Visakhapatnam, India. I would like to know whether daily sadhana, what is required, like meditation. Meditation I know is good, but I'm not able to concentrate in meditation. Is it okay for just bhajan and these things like listening about Swami? Is it enough as daily sadhana? That's my question.
Sister, to answer your question, I would say that how I do my daily sadhana is something, it's completely tailor-made to how I feel. Okay, so Swami is given so many things, and so many ways of doing it. You can just take anything that really you connect with. That's most important. You need to take something that resonates with you very, very well and connects with you very well. It doesn't have to be meditation. Swami doesn't want us to sit for an hour. So many times he said he doesn't want us to sit for such a long meditation sessions. You sit also, it has to be on more than 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes, Swami says, even if you want to. Beyond that is a waste. So connect with him. If you feel bhajan is the way to connect with him. If you feel just talking to Swami on an everyday basis, just in the morning, just getting up and talking to Swami, that is also in any way. Swami is so responsive. You have to resonate. That is the trick there. You need to resonate with what you are doing instead of doing it as something that is mechanical and that is needed to be done.
Yeah, because I get more thoughts if I sit for meditation than normally. So I don't like, I'm not able to do it.
There's no need to do that.
With Swami, I do it. Then fine.
That's fine. If you absolutely want to do meditation, Swami also says, thoughts keep coming, don't fight them. Swami says, they'll come and go, they will come and go. Don't follow them. Just go back and get back to, thinking of Swami and all that. But there is no need to do that. There's no need at all to do that. You should do what resonates with you. So it's for you to look inwards and say, I love this. I love this and this is what I'm going to do. That's how you should be feeling. Yeah. That will work very well.
Wonderful. Typical answer that would also come to any SSC kid asking that. You can see how beautifully it's tailor-made to say that, the practice that you choose has to resonate with you. And that's how all of us connect to Swami, right? Our connect is totally
unique, I would say.
Unique.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our own connection spots and we just tap onto it. Personalized frequencies, if you might call it, from a science perspective. Any other questions, if anyone may have? So if I were to ask Sister Padmashree between writing a play or a poem, see, she's not dabbled about poetry. Give her a theme, and then you will have some of the best poems on Swami composed by her. We have been blessed to sing a few of her penned lyrics for Swami's birthday, and they are very, very deep because it's by her natural connection to the Lord when she writes them. I would ask, what is it that you like most? You've been instrumental in Seva, Vedam chanting, Bal Vikas or SSC, as you may call it. What is it that connects you easiest with Swami? I mean, what is it that drives you to do what you do? Because
I can't. Yes, sorry.
Many of us have, I mean, and of course you like singing, so many things, but then what is also instrumental, why I ask this question is many a times when it comes to the organization, all of us like to have a connect with Swami and stop with that connect. But coming into the organization is where the real challenge, where you have to maintain the connect and still do his work, right? So if I may ask for an alumni to come and take up a role, develop a group, inspire them, what has been your drive to be part of the organization and do what you're doing today?
See, what Swami, why I brought that morning and evening prayers in today's session. Swami gives very, very, very easy ways of doing things. He just says, say this prayer in the morning and say that prayer in the evening. And during the day, what you're doing is up to you. Okay. So when we go to do a Sai activity, yes, Swami has given certain guidelines to follow for the Sai activity. So it's just like, any other guidelines, whether you go to office and do something or whether you do a Sai activity, you have the guidelines and you follow the guidelines. It doesn't mean that every time, really speaking, when I go to do an activity, I'm completely involved in the activity. How much do I think of Swami? Yeah, I will think when there is a sudden, like a shock of something, like something negative suddenly happened or something positive suddenly happened then. But actually, otherwise, my whole mind and my intellect is used in order to do that particular activity. So I just go into doing the activity. So if you ask me which I like best, I can't differentiate. I cannot differentiate that I like this over that or that over this. And for bhajan singing, I am nowhere a bhajan singer or anything. I'm not one. That also I got in because Swami is going on in my dreams, coming, sing, sing, sing. Then I started, a little bit. And Brother Sathya is the one who was a bhajan coordinator at the time when I started singing in my own way. And that is one activity I've never improved upon also. But no distinction between this or that or that. Everything. I've been in so many, a variety of Sai activities. I'm grateful to Swami for that. He's given me a wide exposure. And my connect with Swami is still very personal. It has nothing to do with any of this external stuff. Yes, I go, I have time, I'm a homemaker, I go, and because I love Swami, I'm going and doing all this. It's not that because I love this that I love Swami. It's not that way. So my connect is very, very, very personal, and it remains like that always. I'd love to do Swami's work. He has given me beautiful people around, and naturally that I would say synergy is there always. People, everyone talking about Swami, everyone doing the same thing. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing. There's no such thing as choosing one over the other.
Wonderful. Perfect answer to the query of what drives you to do. It's the connect, and the organization just becomes a vehicle for you to keep the connect.
Exactly.
Right? Keep connected with what you do and take it as an offering to the Lord. A wonderful message. If there are no further questions, let me thank Sister Padmashree for taking time today. As always, she puts in her effort to prepare, and one could see where the preparation comes from, because there are so many things that happen in our life, but to connect the dots and give it that string, which anyway she has done 4 plays in front of Swami, so stringing that is not but the connect to that beautiful message. And I hope she will share the morning and evening prayers later, which I shall share to the group, or even put it on the video if possible, for all to read and say it every day, because it's so profound. When the Lord writes it, there can be no better prayer than that, as simple as it sounds when one reads it. So with that, let us move on to this beautiful musical offering by Vidya, Sister Padmashree's daughter, who's offered this in an unplugged manner for the Lord on just the weekend ahead of Guru Purnima. With that, gratitude to Swami for giving us this satsang today and the messages that have come by. I have no idea who the speaker for next week. Probably he knows, or definitely he knows. And the moment I get to know, you will get to know. Until then, thank you, Sister Padmashree, and let's end with these 5 minutes of bliss that is in store for us, listening to the Lord's name in a mellifluous manner. Sai Ram.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you, Swami, for being with us in every moment of our lives. All we need to keep is the connect to realize that, and gratitude for this wonderful offering that is in line with the Guru Purnima. Blessings to all of us from the Divine Master on Guru Purnima. And that's what all of us seek in every moment of our lives. We'll finish off with Samasta Loka and looking forward to seeing all of you next Sunday. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagavan She Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.
Jai